Don't want to do too much. I'll get myself in trouble with that one. But they're the ones that messed up my intro, so I had to kind of figure out a new one. Anywho. Oh, my goodness gracious. I swear to God, every time I go live, the news I tell you is worse or is just as bad. I don't know. There's never really any good news. Meow Optic. Purr. How are you, sugar? Oh, hey, Bone. You're such a good cat. Glad you are here. All right. Let's see. Oh, wrong thing there. There we go. Share screen. That's what I was trying to find. So, I guess the first thing I want to start with is it's funny here. I don't know if you can hear the sound of it, but Stephen Colbert has been canceled, basically, for calling out Trump and the whole Epstein thing. Of all the dumb things he has done, this is the one they punish him for. And this wasn't even dumb. It's one of the few times I've actually agreed with Stephen Colbert. But even if I didn't agree with him, I do, but I'm just saying, even if I didn't, I have never once called for this man to be canceled. There was I don't know who said it, but they said that comedians, I think it might have been George Carlin, but I'm not sure, said that comedians are like the last stand when it comes to free speech. And Dave Chappelle said that the Second Amendment is the second for a reason, just in case the first doesn't work out. And even today, I saw some noise pollution on YouTube, and he was mentioning that comedians are the last stand as well, or last bastion, I believe he said was his term. And he's right. They're all correct. Because when they start firing or canceling a comedian for calling out the truth, I mean, what's next? Is Trump going to pull the plug on the something B? I forget what it is, but they oftentimes their humorous headlines are actually very accurate. Babylon B, that's it. I couldn't remember what it was. I do not like Stephen Colbert. And I miss the days when Republicans would see someone got canceled for saying something and would be like, well, I don't agree with him, but I would actually defend his right to say it. Boy, I miss those fucking days. I really do. I mean, I know that a lot of people, including one of my friends that I won't name him because I don't want anyone like giving him side eye. But he said that these guys, these leftists and whatnot, they've spent years fucking with us, you know? And I'm like, true. But I thought that one of the things that set us aside from them, separated us from them, was that we were supposed to be better than that. And for the last couple of years, it's starting to look like we're not. And that's worrisome. But yeah, this is the Facebook story I put up. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the music, but it's a song called Erica with a K, and it's a German song. Because honestly, I mean, that's the vibes it gives when the fact that this man has been absolutely, has had his shit taken. He got fired because of ratings. That's weird because they said he actually had very high ratings and he got awards. So it seems like there's a conflicting story they're giving us. But him losing his job right after calling out bullshit on the Epstein thing, come on. That's more than just a ratings thing or whatever. They're actually a very well-liked show. There's times when I've watched a little Stephen Colbert, like if it's on a clip on TikTok, and sometimes he's funny. Generally, he's not, but sometimes he's funny. But that's still, to have someone take your job because of what you said. Yes. I don't know how long you've been here, but I keep pointing the wrong way. I just mentioned you a minute ago with the whole freedom of speech and thing. Like Dave Chappelle had said that the Second Amendment is second for a reason in case the first doesn't work out. I mentioned that just today, I keep pointing the wrong way, that you said that comedians are the last bastion of free speech. And this is absolutely true. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan of Stephen Colbert, but for him to lose his job because he called bullshit on Epstein crap, come on. Like, and I saw something, and I don't know if it's real. But it was on TikTok, and it looks like a screenshot of a post from Truth Social, which I don't have, so I can't go and confirm it. And I'm not signing up for Truth Social. I'm not. But it showed a picture that was supposed to be, I guess, a tweet. I'm going to call it a tweet, even though it's on Truth Social, because the layout is the same. Like his meanwhile. I would have to look into that. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Yeah, I know, I'm always pointing wrong. Oh, now I got it right. Because part of my brain is trying to point at the chat, which is over here to my right. So I'm like, my brain's kind of, you know. Anyway, but for him to lose a job, and for anyone to lose their job for calling out the truth is insane. I mean, we know it happens, but I feel a certain ick and grossness that any Republican, any person who believes in the Constitution and free speech is cheering this man lost his job. Now, again, if he had lost it during lockdowns, when he had, I think it was him who had people dressed as syringes dancing around, that was some weird-ass propaganda. Ugh. Like, I could have seen, like, if he gotten canceled for that, I mean, like, I could have been more okay with it. I'm still got a problem because of free speech. But making a man lose his job because he's calling out child traffickers and pedos, and people are, my party's cheering for it? Jesus fucking Christ, man. They're gonna follow that golden cow right into the ground, opens up and swallows them whole like David. They're false idols, and this is what they've done. They've turned Trump into a false idol. Hello. Well, as you may know. Yes, and that, all right, I can't imagine people probably wanted to fire people for voting for Trump, but I can't imagine anyone being able to actually do it without getting themselves sued for civil liberty issues. I believe people are stupid enough to actually fire someone over their politics. Absolutely. But I think we have labor laws that are supposed to make that to where you can sue the hell out of your employer if that's what he did. So I'm not going to say that didn't happen. It's just legally it's not supposed to be able to happen. Because we know that stuff that's not supposed to be legal happens all the time. So I almost said that doesn't happen, but yeah. Someone's probably dumb enough to fire somebody for that. But yeah, the idea that like any comedian or anybody really, you know, calling out the truth and getting fired is something nobody should cheer for. But, all right, so now that I've shared that part, the entire screen. So what's this one? All right, so this one I thought looked like an interesting, headline. So we'll just get into that. Israel gets the belt treatment. I'm not sure what the belt treatment is. I don't know if that means they got spanked or like a belt-fed weapon situation. Like I'm really not sure what they mean. It sounds funny either way. But the belt treatment from Russia and Iran over attacks on Syrian forces. Boy, let me tell you what a bunch of shit that is. Because if anybody remembers when they upended and got rid of Assad and put that former ISIS guy in charge of fucking Syria. And I was like, they're going to use this as an excuse to continue on bullshit by saying, oh, there's terrorism going on over here, and have an excuse to go do dumb shit. I was right. Of course, I also remember how we ended up getting Al-Qaeda, because they wanted to run the Soviets out of Afghanistan, so we hired these mujahideen fuckers and gave them weapons and training, and it worked. The Soviets left Afghanistan. And then they just cleaned their hands of it. Hell, even Hillary told the truth on this one. The only time that crazy broad's ever told the truth in her whole fucking life. And so we created Al Qaeda, and at least in a sort of off sort of way, we created ISIS, our own stupidity. And now I get to in real time see why this happened and how it happened. Because we took a guy from ISIS and put him in the president's house, basically, in Syria. Anyway, yeah, what could possibly go wrong there, huh? Fuck. But anyways, that's what's going on over there. But Russia and Iran have strongly condemned Israel's latest airstrikes on Syrian territory, calling them illegal and destabilizing. Moscow blasted the strikes as a gross violation of Syria's sovereignty, while Iran's foreign minister Argachi, maybe, labeled Israel as a rabid regime, true that, engaging in unhinged aggression. Also fair enough. Israel confirmed it struck near the Syrian army headquarters in Damascus. Man, Damascus, if all these headlines are true and all these articles I've been reading true, I can't believe there's anything left in Damascus. They constantly just tearing it up. And they're citing the action, the reason for doing this is protecting the Druze civilians. And Druze is I think it's like Islam light. Like, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. Because you got your Shiites, your Sunnis, and I think Druze is kind of like a smaller little like minority of that. But anyway, the Israelis have actually been terrible to Druze over the many years. Even took their land. A lot of the Druze were kind of chilling around the area called the Golan Heights, which if you're looking at Israel and say like this is the Mediterranean or whatever, I forget what part. I think it's Mediterranean. And right here is Tel Aviv. The Golan Heights will be up here. Just if you look at a map, that's where it is, up at the top. Anyway, so that was mostly the Druze land, and they annexed that because they're always stealing people's shit. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's true. Anyway, but now they're using the Druze as an excuse to go in there and just tear the shit out of everything like they've been doing, and it's fucking crazy. I mean, not to be an asshole and really get it stirred up, but that would be like America going to war to defend black people when our U.S. government doesn't care about any of us at all. But yeah, it's about how believable that is to me. As regional tensions escalate, both Russia and Iran demand an end to foreign interventions and urge unity within Syria. See, I thought we wanted to stabilize it. I mean, theoretically, didn't we want to get rid of bad guys and help stabilize it? Well, it seems like we're trying to stop that from happening. So, fuck everybody who's involved in fucking with people's lives like this. All right. Next article. Oh, boy. So, I saw that last night. I was like, well, this live stream's going to hit the ground running. I decided not to make this the very first article I read. I was going to, and I was like, you know what? Let's ease everybody into it and then be like, bam. So I ran across this, and holy shit. This is from June 4th. It came up on my feed last night. I don't know why from June 4th, but here we are. Sadistic rituals. Survivors testify to Knesset, which I think is kind of like a Senate or Congress in Israel. They testified to the Knesset about childhood sexual abuse network in Israeli religious ceremonies. Yikes. I mean, a lot of our religious institutions have their share of that shit too. But yikes. During a special joint Knesset session on Tuesday, several women, mainly from the ultra-Orthodox and religious Zionist communities, came forward to testify about years of childhood abuse they suffered during sadistic sexual rituals performed in religious ceremonies in Israel. Their testimonies, which also indicate repeated neglect from authorities, are part of a disturbing pattern documented by journalists. And since it's behind a paywall, even though it's $1, I'm not fucking doing that. But if you are so inclined, I will pop this into the chat for you, and you can come check it out in a minute. It happens. It happens a lot. I wish I could jinx it and be wrong and this bad shit not happen. But the thing is, it's like you see a pattern and you're like, gee, I think I know where this is going. And sure enough, it ends up being that. Now, there's times where I'm like half right, and I was like, not completely right, but I was kind of right about how it was going to happen, but not what was going to happen. For instance, it's like, so sometimes it's like that. Can you imagine if they had actually elected me and I might have had access to more information than I do just on the computer? Can you imagine how actually accurate I'd be? Fuck me. Eh. If there was almost anybody honest in DC, I would offer my services as an advisor and analyst. But no, everybody wants to make money on the wars, and it's population control too. It really fucking is. Anyway, all right, let me close that down as I go along, so that way I don't get confused. So I'm sure y'all heard that Israel hit a Catholic church. They've actually hit a lot of churches over Christian churches over there. I'm not sure why this particular one really grabbed worldwide attention, but I'll show you an example. My keyboard doesn't work, so I have to use the keyboard on the screen, so it's a little slower, so bear with me. Israel. Oh, shit. Israel. Strikes. Oh, I know. I think I know how to find it. 800-year-old church. Because this happened a year and a half or two ago. And they've hit numerous churches since then. All right. Yeah. Let's see. 2 days ago. Yeah, they have this really up at the far front. So they're like, a lot of the other stuff might be suppressed. Oh, for several days, the oldest church in Gaza Strip has hosted Palestinians hoping to find shelter from relentless Israeli bombings. But on Thursday night, an airstrike. Let me click on the rest of this for you. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't an 800-year-old church. It was a 1,600-year-old church. My fucking bad. It's 800 years worse than I thought it fucking was. And these were where civilians were hiding inside the church. They struck it. They've done this numerous times. I'm not sure why this one particularly got everyone's attention. Because I'm like, now you've noticed? Now you see it? It was actually they hit a few churches. Post falsely claims Israel bombed historic church in Gaza. Oh, that was one of the first ones they actually hit. Because they hit 2 or 3. So this was one of the first ones they reported on. They're claiming it's not true, but it is. Like, I kind of saw it. Like, it was. Anyways, but that's just to give you some backstory on that shit. That this is not the first time this has happened. But let's scroll down and read the shit. Anyway, hold on. Let me get this up on my phone so I can keep an eye on things and see what y'all are saying. All right. So, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that his country deeply regrets that a stray my fucking ass, mind you, hit Gaza's only Catholic church, killing 3. Oh, Puppers, are you okay? Sorry, Puppers has got a sore ear. She went to the vet the other day. Her ear is still kind of sore. So if she tries to like touch it or scratch near it and she hits it, she whimpers. She's still kind of getting used to it being messed up. So if you hear her whimper, she's just having a little tough time right now. It's okay. You're a good girl. Okay? It's a good girl. All right. She needs positive affirmations. Anyway. So he deeply regrets that a stray ammunition hit Gaza's only Catholic church. First off, they have claimed that all their strikes are precision strikes, which is weird because half that place is fucking leveled. But okay. And they even have this thing called Project Lavender that's supposed to use AI to pick targets with very little oversight. If you want, by all means, check, when you feel like it, Google Operation Lavender in Israel and see what you get. Ooh, all right. Apparently, I'm getting a bunch of messages. Thank you, Curtis. Well, actually, I don't know if he's even here, and he's messaged me though. I'll send him a hug. There we go. Okay. But anyway, every innocent life lost is a tragedy, and we share the grief of the families and the faithful. What a load of shit! This man is insane. Did you know that this man got us into the Iraq and Afghanistan war? He was the one that convinced Congress that they had weapons of mass destruction over there. And he said every innocent life it lost is a tragedy. What a hunk of shit from him. Sorry. The incident happened on Thursday when an Israeli strike hit the Holy Family Church in Gaza City. Several people were also injured, said the Latin Patriarchate? I don't know this word. I'm not Catholic, and I think that's a Catholic thing. I don't know. But this person of Jerusalem, which oversees a small parish, Pope Leo the 14th, I think that's the 14th, because the 1 is in front of the V. So I think it's the 14th. Deeply saddened to learn about the loss of life and injury, renewing his call for the Gaza ceasefire. That man's been consistent so far, so kudos to the Pope, which is not something I generally say, really ever. But yeah, he seems all right from little I've heard of him. In his statement, Netanyahu said Israel was investigating the incident and remains committed to protecting civilians and holy sites. They lie. They absolutely lie. A quick Google search will absolutely show that that's not true. They have done some horrendous shit to churches and to cemeteries. I'm not joking. It's pretty gross. Anyway, in a statement later on Thursday, the Israeli Defense Force said initial inquiries into reports regarding injured individuals at the Holy Family Church in Gaza City suggest that fragments from a shell fired during operational activity in the area hit the church mistakenly. And this caused the incident the cause of the incident is under review. Well, I wonder what the hell they were shooting at that a piece of the shell would hit the church. And how much of a piece of the shell would actually create so much devastation to end up killing a bunch of people inside. I do wonder. The IDF directs its strikes solely at military targets. We also know that that is a lie. Except that in their mind, even unarmed civilians are terrorists. So, and I've heard them admit this. You should look up what a guy named Naftali Bennett has said. He used to be prime minister as well back in the day. And you should hear some horrendous things he says. He basically says there is no such thing as civilians in Gaza, that they're all terrorists or potential terrorists when referring to the children. So that guy's horrendous. But yeah, so they solely hit military targets. It makes every feasible effort to mitigate harm to civilians and religious structures. Well, I just showed you a Google search, so that's not true. And regrets any unintentional damage. Boy, yikes. Earlier in the day, White House spokeswoman Carolyn Leavitt said that U.S. President Donald Trump did not have a positive reaction to the attack on the church. Well, I would fucking hope not, you know. Trump called Netanyahu to discuss the incident on Thursday. During the call, Netanyahu described the attack as a mistake. Leavitt cited him saying, the word that I cannot fucking pronounce said that the parish priest, Father Gabriel Ramanali, was part of those who had been injured in the attack. It is said that the people found sanctuary in the church, hoping that the horrors of the war might at least spare their lives after their homes, possessions, and dignity had been stripped away. So, yeah. This is not the first time they've hit a church with people hiding inside. I've shown you the Google results. There's more, but I didn't feel like going to page 5, 6, 7 because search results get pushed to the bottom. But you're free to look at that at your own time and see I'm telling you the truth. I do not lie to y'all, people. This stuff is so horrendous and shocking, I don't have to lie about anything. Now, this surprised me because last time I live streamed about this shit, I was talking about Mike Huckabee, who is the U.S. ambassador to Israel, just, you know, basically kissing ass and everything and telling Ireland they should not boycott Israel and that they should sober up. You remember that shit? Well, apparently he's grown a little bit of a spine in the last few days, and I'm fucking amazed by it, you know? Give the credit where the credit due, eh? Israeli minister accuses Huckabee of deviating from the accepted working norms over demands for visas to Christian groups. I see, and I think that's interesting because the accepted working norms, which is fancy talk for, hey, we pay you a certain amount of money to make us look good, and right now you're not making us look good, Mr. Huckabee. You're supposed to follow the script that we tell you. That's what that fucking means. And look at this guy. They picked a hell of a picture. That dude looks so salty. Holy shit. And kind of slaughteringly. After U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee issued a threatening letter to the Interior Minister Moshe, I think it's Moshe, Arbel, over evangelical Christian groups not receiving visas into Israel. The ultra-Orthodox Shas lawmaker responded that he is particularly surprised by the way in which the envoy raised his concern. Yeah, he's particularly surprised that someone's getting paid by Israel and still, might actually voice an objection to something they're doing. It's amazing. I'm actually kind of excited that Huckabee might be pulling his head out of his ass, keep our fingers crossed, Immediately following our meeting, writes Arbel in a letter to Huckabee shared with the Times of Israel, I instructed all relevant professional bodies to act in accordance with the understanding that we reached. I was fucking having trouble with that one. And I assigned advisors from my office, headed by the Chief of Staff, to ensure a personal and continuous and effective response to such requests. The two met on May 27th to discuss problems encountered by Christian Zionists seeking to visit Israel. Every request that was personally brought to the attention of my office has been addressed within an exceptionally short time frame, Arbel insisted. I issue the same directives regarding the case mentioned in your letter. Cases that have not previously been brought to my attention. Huckabee sent a copy of his letter to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Isaac Herzog, Foreign Minister Gideon Sayar, Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Demer, and the Knesset Speaker Amir Ohana. I was doing the best I could with those names. Next article. Now, I have to say, this is not helping Trump. First he's protecting the pedos, and then the Trump administration shuts down the office responsible for preventing human trafficking. Jesus Christ. God help me. What everybody's going to do with that extra money? As part of downsizing, the Trump administration on Friday cut 1,353 positions at state and about 15% of its Washington-based staff, and the largest reduction in decades. This reduction in force targeted foreign policy goals that didn't align with MAGA values. This included closing or eviscerating entire offices that promote democracy, combat genocide, and violent extremism. Help resolve armed conflicts and support women's rights. See, you knew that was going to get hacked. Among them was also the office to monitor and combat trafficking in persons, known as TIP office. For 25 years, the TIP office has worked to combat human, sex, and labor trafficking around the world. Its remit includes producing an annual report as required by Congress that grades every country on the issue. Those that fail can face economic repercussions from the U.S., putting teeth into the government's effort to end trafficking. This year's report was due on June 30th, but has not been released. The TIP office also worked with local partners around the world to strengthen civil society groups, train prosecutors, and help other countries combat trafficking. The office's missions, including managing tens of millions of dollars for these programs, has always been a bipartisan support. Once again, we see Marco Rubio, the incredible shrinking Secretary of State, yeah, that's about accurate, being his, I think this is Spanish, I think it's pronounced jefe, which I think means boss, bureaucratic sicario. You know what? Wish I should translate that, but I think that's his boss, bureaucratic Sicario. I think this translates. I don't know if anybody knows Spanish, but hopefully you can help everybody else because I suck at this. Secretary of State Marco Rubio submitted his reorganization plan for the State Department to. Is this in the same article? Or is this the start of a different article? I don't know. Sometimes they kind of do it funny and I can't tell. But submitted a reorganization plan for the State Department to Congress in April, but stopped its implementation after a federal judge in California halted such plans across 22 agencies. Last Tuesday, the Supreme Court lifted that injunction, and state rushed ahead of its reduction in force on Friday. I guess since the administration is now engaged in a large-scale forcible trafficking itself, apparently it is our most recent partner priorities in this have changed. Yeah, it would look so. So remember, everybody, stay strapped. So if you see someone looks like they're getting kidnapped or trafficked, you might have to shoot them because we're not going to be able to, depend on the authorities to do anything. So, and now to this article. Entire National Guard network compromised after hack. I swear to God, anytime there's something talking about a hack in the military, somehow Hexeth is always on the front fucking page of it. You remember how some supposed war plans got leaked all over Telegram because he wasn't using a secure line, and that happened like twice? 3 times, I think. That shit was so fucking funny. So yeah, here we go again. A group of hackers with connections to the People's Republic of China, they always blame the Chinese, but whatever, have compromised the entire National Guard network. See, but how was the Chinese able to do it if everybody was doing their job, though? According to, and that was according to a Department of Homeland Security memo. A Department of Defense report found that the hacking group known as Salt Typhoon, it's kind of a weird name, but all right, had extensively compromised the U.S. State Army National Guard network from March 2024 through December. And the June 11th memo revealed. So, that mess had happened for a while. March till December. What? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. What? Jesus. Yeah, maybe just get Avast and call it a day. God almighty. I can't with these people, God help me. All right, next article. Former White House Chief of Staff contradicts Trump on whether Prez's name is in the Epstein files. Oh. Oh. Huh. All right, let's go look at it. Golly. Mick Mulvaney, who served as President Trump's chief of staff toward the end of his first term, has a theory on why the president has started insisting Jeffrey Epstein's case is a hoax. He thinks it's because it's not a hoax at all. Yup. This guy probably has a degree in that impressive thinking. He's in the files, and a lot of people are in the files, Mulvaney told Al Jazeera Network in a forthcoming interview that was teased online Thursday. However, Mulvaney doesn't think anything in the so-called Epstein files will connect the president to the disgraced financier and convicted sex offender for a very simple reason. If there was something in the files that was particularly damning about Donald Trump, the files would have been released by the Biden administration. That is incorrect. Because if it's both Democrats and Republicans on that list, they had the incentive to not release any of it because they're all going to be fucked. So his argument right here is absolute shite. The former Trump aide assumes the unreleased Epstein case information is probably damning of very important people on both sides. Oh, see, there we go. Of the political aisle, which is why Trump doesn't want it released and why Biden didn't release it either. Oh, well, shit, there you go. That's what I just fucking said. There we go. There is a photograph of them together, so if there's a file somewhere, which I assume there is, I have to imagine his name is on the list someplace. Interviewer Mehdi Hassan noted that Mulvaney's was chief of staff in 2019 when Epstein was found dead in his jail cell, and Trump tried to baselessly blame Bill Clinton. To be fair, it's usually Hillary Clinton that kills people. I don't think Bill has the spine or the stomach for it. It's that crazy bitch wife of his. I'll be honest about that. How do you think she got in charge of New York back in the day? Oh, hello, Val. Hail all, Futa Time, and Skull. Righto. Maybe not the food part, but you know what? If it makes you happy, go for it. Mulvaney's response suggested he didn't disagree with Trump about the allegation. Baselessly, Mulvaney said before shrugging, okay. He claimed he was kidding when Hassan pressed him on it. Is Bill Clinton on the list? I feel like we kind of know he is. You were chief of staff at the time and you didn't come out and correct him. So maybe you do share that insane view, Hassan said. Mulvaney said, not my job. That literally is your job as chief of staff, Hassan countered, while Mulvaney murmured, no. After Mulvaney claimed his job as chief of staff was to give the president good information, Hassan then insisted Mulvaney failed since the president retweeted a post suggesting without evidence that Clinton could have killed Epstein. Honestly, everybody had a motive to kill Epstein if Epstein is even dead. A short time later, Mulvaney attempted to help Trump by noting that Epstein was eventually banned from Mar-a-Lago for being too weird. To which Hassan responded, he also said Epstein was a terrific guy who likes younger women. So, yeah. I mean, I see his point there. Next article. Oh my fucking God. This shit. Trump sues Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch over reporting of Epstein ties. So the president is suing a publication for telling the truth. You know, maybe getting out of here and leaving the country in 90 days isn't such a bad idea after all. Fuck. God help me. President Donald Trump filed a lawsuit Friday against the media mogul Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal over the newspaper reporting on ties between Trump and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. The lawsuit was filed in federal court in Miami and it seeks $10 billion, pinky up, $10 billion in damages. First off, I don't see how he was damaged in it. We all kind of suspected it anyway. And unfortunately, probably a little under half of his fucking voter base still supports him, even though he's a fucking pedo. They're probably forgiving him the same way they forgive the ministers in their church for molesting their own kids. You know? Jesus fucking Christ. I fucking hate people so much. One of these days I'm going to snap and start killing chomos, you know? see where the spirit guides me after that. On Thursday, the Wall Street Journal published a story describing the sexually suggestive letter that the newspaper said bore Trump's name and was included in a 2003 album for Epstein's 50th birthday. Trump denied writing the letter, calling it false, malicious, and defamatory. I mean, if he knew the guy, sending some, and supposedly before all this information came out about him being a bad guy, someone sending someone a birthday card is not really criminal level. I mean, we already know they knew each other, even though he said they didn't. We already know that they knew each other. So I feel like someone sending somebody a birthday card for their 50th birthday is probably really low on the list of problems. You know? At least it was two people of consenting age communicating this time. But I mean, whatever, though. Earlier Friday, the Justice Department asked for a federal court to unseal the grand jury transcripts in Epstein's case amid heightened public interest in the disgraced financier's connection to Trump and other leaders. As controversy continues to surround Trump's administration, their handling of the records related to Epstein. Yeah, they've embarrassed themselves. They've tried gaslighting people. And somewhere on TikTok, and I meant to tell you all this, like, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can pull it up and find the thing to show you what I'm talking about. Give me a second to see if I can find it. Okay. Let me send this to Messenger, and I'll open it up for you guys to see here. Just give me a second. All right. Facebook. All right. Here. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but let me see if he moves his head. There. So this is the post that I get is supposed to be on True Social. And like I said, I don't have True Social, so I can't actually myself go and confirm this. But so you can see what I see. Is that what you know as much as I do. Only trans people care about Epstein's list. It's not even the right your. Because it's supposed to be you are, not a trans, Ari. There's no fucking way that's real. Like, I feel like he would at least get the right your. It'd be like YOU''RE. Like, I would like to think that he would have got that correct. Because I don't know. If anyone has True Social, please go check and see if this is a thing. Because but that's so weird. That would be really weird if that is something that Trump actually did post. Like, that would be such an odd gaslighting kind of thing. Especially since that would imply that the trans people that Trump, and a bunch of other people, accuse them of being sex offenders, would want you to show the list of sex offenders. Like, that would be, I don't know, that kind of, I don't know. It's fucking weird. The humans are weird, and I don't fucking know. But I don't know if it's real or not, but I thought it was interesting. That's why I've explained I'm not sure, but I figured I'd let you see the shits in my head and what I've seen. So I think it's bizarre, but there we are. Okay. Next thing. Oh, yeah, we're still on this, actually. Trump in recent days called his own supporters weaklings for wanting more records from the Epstein probe. Can you imagine the people who have given you millions of dollars and tons of support, calling them weaklings for wanting you to expose child molesters? I find a lot of gray areas to try to be reasonable about things, but this particular thing is black and white. Like, I've never even really been one of those people that, like, if you're not with us, you're against us. I'm generally not even that kind of person. But this I am. Because if you don't support exposing the sex offenders, then I assume you yourself are a sex offender. I assume that you enable sex offenses. Because why would you not want such an injustice exposed unless you yourself are guilty of those actions? You know what I mean? Those are one of the few times where it's black and white for me. There is no gray area. There is no devil's advocate. And besides, the devil don't need one. You know? Can I get an amen? Next. Thomas Massey. Love this man. God love him. Hey, Curtis. Meow, meow. All right. It's not, I don't know if it's really news per se, but it's, Thomas Massey posted it. Foreign Aid and Department of Defense bill. Appropriations probably, but I'm not sure what it stands for. $300 million in Syria and Iraq military. Aren't we doing missile strikes at Syrian military right now? Are we not doing that? Because I thought we were supporting Israel bombing Syria. I don't fucking know. One way or another, it's your fucking tax dollars. $118 million overseas disasters, which is nice, but didn't Texas say they had a money shortage when that nasty flood came through and killed all those people and those kids? But we have $118 million to send overseas to disasters, but not to take care of the ones that are here. Because I'm pretty sure the people in North Carolina are still recovering from that hurricane from last year. I'm just saying. But okay. 15 million in AIDS in Africa. I'm assuming hopefully it's to combat AIDS, not to create AIDS, but it's the government. What can you do? But 15 million for, I guess, AIDS in Africa. 500 million for Israel. On top of the 3 billion I think we give them every year. I think it's billion with a B. You can look it up and see if I'm right or wrong, but I think it's either like 300 million or 3 billion. It could be 300 billion, actually. I don't know. I don't remember the number, but it's fucking insane. We don't take care of our own people here. We have veterans and living in doorways, and we have like elderly disabled people who can't afford, food and insulin. But yeah, sure, let's send billions of dollars to Israel while they have paid for health care. But people here are called socialists if we want health care for our own people, for our own citizens. We're considered socialists for that. But apparently it's goodwill when you send your tax dollars to someone else and let them have not socialized health care. I forget what it's called. It kind of works out being socialized health care, but having the health care paid for, whatever the fuck it is, subsidized health care. I can't remember what it is. You know what I mean? 350 million to Kuwait. I low-key wish I knew why. We may have to go and look into that, because what the fuck's going on in Kuwait? They need $350 billion. Probably something we messed up, to be honest. 1.27 billion foreign security. To who? To where and why? Or is it like our people over there spying on people for us? I wish they would explain. 500 million to Taiwan. Why? I would like to see what these expenditures are going to. 500 million to Jordan. Why does the king of Jordan even embarrass himself by accepting $500 million of our tax dollars? Like, what the fuck is going on in Jordan that we need to give King Hussein, fucking whatever his name is? Oh, wait. Is it King Hussein? No. King Abdullah. I'm sorry. I think King of Jordan is King Abdullah. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. King Abdullah, I do believe. Why are we giving him $500 million? It's done for us. 267 million reimbursed countries. Why are we reimbursing other countries when we don't even take care of ourselves? What the fuck? Well, at least Thomas Massey's telling us what's going on. I do suggest that you go to Twitter and follow Thomas Massey, so that way you can see what he's doing. He's one of the few people in our government who is not taking foreign money and taking bribes from other countries, including Israel. He's one of the few that is not. And Trump's actually been really after him because he's been against a lot of the stuff that involves sending money overseas, anything that involves raising our taxes. Thomas Massey has been against it. He has actually been looking out for the people. And Trump is absolutely after him and wants him gone. So follow him on Twitter. He is awesome. And interesting enough, just a little after Trump has signed away a lot of people's Medicaid and subsidized insurance, Donald Trump underwent vascular test after swelling his legs, diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. Well, some people on TikTok have said something along the, instead of thoughts and prayers, clots and prayers. Maybe the Lord doesn't always send plagues and locusts. Sometimes he sends other shit. Same. Who am I to question the Lord? You know what I mean? I don't do sometimes. Donald Trump underwent testing after he noted mild swelling in his lower legs. I saw the picture. It wasn't mild. That dude could not see the bones in his feet, for real. There's no way. But doctors determined that he had a chronic venous insufficiency, a common condition for individuals over 70. Reading a note from President Trump's physician, Levitt was addressing speculation, particularly on social media, over the president's appearance in recent weeks. Well, when you sell your soul, your health kind of declines. Others have noticed bruising on the back of Trump's hand, something that Levitt said was consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking. I must admit, I'm sure the president shakes hands way more than I do, since I try to avoid people. But I must admit, I've never heard of people bruising their hand from shaking a lot of people's hands. That's a new one for me, but you know what? I'm not a cardiovascular person, but that sounds wild. But okay. And the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. Well, okay, fair enough on the aspirin. I mean, it does thin the blood and whatnot. If you take blood thinners, you might be more inclined to bruising. I mean, fair enough. This is all well-known and benign side effect of aspirin for therapy. Levitt said that, it could be Levitt. Levitt said that Trump was evaluated by the White House medical unit under an abundance of caution. She said that he underwent diagnostic vascular studies that was bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasound. I'm assuming they do that for clots. To look for clots is what I'm assuming in this. Again, I'm just guessing at it. Hey, Sashi, meow meow, how are you? And welcome. Glad you are here. Anyway, and actually, I did not have these together like I meant to, because this next article, I actually wanted it lumped with Trump suing the Wall Street Journal, because this ties in with it. So I'm sure a lot of y'all remember Riley Gaines. I think she was that, I think they call her an anti-trans activist. She was that girl that was a swimmer, and she helped protest to get that trans person, I forget his name, their name off the top of my head, but had him pretty much tossed off the swim team, which, I mean, I get, but she was one of the many people who were saying that trans people were like, don't belong in girls' bathrooms and all kinds of shit. And I'm not getting into that part. I'm just explaining who she is for what I'm about to show you. I'm kind of leading up to it, you know? So, yeah, that is who Riley Gaines is. And here we go. Right-wing activist Riley Gaines urges President Trump to sue media mogul Rupert Murdoch, who is Gaines's boss, mind you, into oblivion, after the Wall Street Journal published an explosive story about a bawdy letter that Trump sent to Epstein. So something that might connect the president to a sex trafficker. Riley Gaines wants that newspaper to be sued. She supposedly did all her activist work because she was worried about young girls being in danger from trans people. So she is siding with somebody who's on the Epstein list. She is siding with Trump. And she wants Trump to sue this media publication. Who's her boss? Rupert Murdoch is Gaines's boss. I hope she doesn't have a job after this, because if I had an employee and they were excited and were supporting, like publicly supporting me getting sued by somebody for telling the truth, I would fire her. I would fire her for that. Like, I hope she saved her money. The president has raged against Murdoch and the Journal since the publication reported that Trump sent the late disgraced businessman and sex offender a letter for his 50th birthday that had several lines of typewritten text surrounded by an outline of a naked woman sketched in marker. Hey, at least that's the only female they've probably been around that probably didn't have to worry about being underage. But, whatever. Happy birthday. May every day be another wonderful secret. Yee, yikes. That's creepy as fuck. Ooh. Okay, I didn't know the contents of the birthday letter. Now I see why people are extra frazzled. That'll do it. That's a creepy ass thing to fucking write. And this girl who pretended to give a shit about women and girls and protect them from sex offenders is now supporting said sex offender here. My goodness. And she's changed a lot. Y'all should see how she looked like 2 years ago. She looked like a normal person. Now she's got that weird face that a lot of these high up Republican women get when they have a shit ton of face filler and chin and jaw enhancements and all that. They don't look like real people anymore. And she's a lot younger than me. I think she's only 25. She's very young to have done this to herself. Now she looks like a 40-year-old woman trying to hold on to her youth. It's insane. Less is more. But yeah, so Riley Gaines apparently cares more about Trump than she does actually giving a shit about the safety of women and girls. Well, Riley Gaines can go fuck herself, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway. So yeah, that's me bitching about stuff. And just in case anyone is wondering, and just so they can cancel me later or whatever, honestly, I always thought the best solution to the whole trans issue about bathrooms was like a lot of Walmarts, for instance, they have a women's bathroom, a men's bathroom, and a family bathroom where it's kind of unisexed. I always thought that was always a good, solution to the problem. And I think they should treat all sports kind of like they do with wrestling, where they try to make sure you're in the same size and weight class and skill level and all this to try to prevent someone who has a lot more muscle and bone density from beating the shit out of someone with less. I always thought that would be a good idea. Like things like tennis are probably okay, but like in wrestling, I wouldn't suggest having necessarily biological men fighting women. Like I wouldn't suggest it, but but it's just because of the unfair advantage, not because I hate people. So I figured I would at least cover that part. But so I was giving shit about Riley Gaines because, one moment she's like, I'm doing this because I care about women and girls. And then she's siding with somebody who's on the Epstein list. Huh. I miss when people were consistent. Anywho's, but let me send my loves to go up the list. Hugs to Optic Racer and hugs to Bone and hugs to Lady Mist. I missed that part. Yeah, I love Dave Chappelle. He's fucking great. Love that man. Yes. God love him. See, yeah, but I think a lot of it was because he actually turned down some sneaky shit. Like, because we know about some of the weird shit that goes on in Hollywood. And people are sort of offered to join those fucked up groups. And when they don't, their career ends up ruined. And that's actually what happened to Dave Chappelle because he eventually came out and told everybody what had happened. And a lot of it was similar to Diddy type shit. Anyway, hugs to Sashi, hugs to Roadkill, hugs to Noise Pollution. Let me see. Hugs to Daniel Barry. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody because I'm always so happy when y'all come to visit. And I do not. Hugs to Curtis Shelby, if I didn't already say it. Hello, Pooh Scissors. How are you? I was just wrapping up. Always good to hear what people aren't sharing with us, right? Or like it's published, but it's like in a tiny article and it's not really getting seen, Oh, my legs. Sorry, I've been sitting kind of weird for like a little bit, so my legs are a little sad. So anyways, but I was just wrapping up, but hey, better late than never. I was trying to keep it just under the hour mark, and it looks like I just barely made it. So hugs and loves to all of you. I do need to eventually make a new outro, but they've kind of made it to where if I want an outro, I have to pay them $60. Like, hold on, I'll show you the silliness they're doing. Share screen, entire screen. So, media assets. If I want to add a video clip. Free plan comes with one example video. If you would like to share your own video, look at upgrades. So, yeah, they want to charge me so I can show a video. Oh, okay. Well, okay, so that one's only $20, but I'm still not paying them when I used to have it for free. So they can fuck off with that. Anyways, but I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. I don't know what's going on tonight. I don't know if Raquel. I'm always late to the party. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I always try to stream at 7 o'clock Central Time. That because I don't know, like if I do it too early, nobody shows up. If I do it too late, nobody shows up. 7 o'clock seems to be the only one that works for me, so that's what I've had to stick to. I even tried recently, I think a couple weeks ago, streaming around 8. It did not go well. But I love y'all so much. Where's the after party? I actually don't know. Let me see if anybody's live right now. Let's see what's going on. Toasty's live. Dadman Walking's live. I don't know what's going on later this evening. I do not know. I would be showing a movie, but I am having issues with my computer. And so, like, until I get my Avast antivirus stuff updated, I am probably not going to use those websites because it might be a problem. So, oh, actually, I could do more of those fan films. I still have a few more to show if y'all want. Because if you do, I mean, I could technically set it up for tonight or tomorrow if that's what you would like. Y'all can let me know. Like, whichever one. Because I want to be able to, I think let me go see how many movies are in that list. Alright, let me remove that because we saw that one already. Saw that one. Saw that one. Saw that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit, good job. So yeah, actually, yeah, we have about 7 or 8 movies we can watch on the list. And they range from 6 minutes long to 12 minutes long, 14 minutes long. So we can probably squeeze quite a few movies in if you would like. One called Zombie Ship. That sounds fun. I think that could be good. So, do y'all want me to set up another stream and we can watch fan-made movies and independent films? Like people making their own sci-fi and horror movies? That actually does sound kind of fun, but I have to get up and move my legs, so I'd have to do it in like 30 minutes or so. Gotta move around. I don't have the best circulation. Guess it's genetic. Do you know trauma movies? Oh, you mean like the Toxic Avenger? Like, if that's what you mean? Because I know of them. I remember seeing them when I was like 13. I saw a few of them, but not really something I've seen in 3 decades. Yeah, Toxic Avenger. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, used to when I was like 13, 14. God help me, that was like 1995. USA Up All Night oftentimes would have like a little movie marathon of the Toxic Avenger, the son of Toxic Avenger, and all kinds of trauma movies they would do. So I remember seeing those, but it's been a very long time. I must say they're not necessarily my favorite movies, if I remember. Usually I look back on certain silly movies very fondly. I'm not so much. I had so many of them on VHS. I still have a VCR. It's in a drawer over there, and the handles are broken off, so I would actually need like a crowbar to pop the drawer open, because like it has like a little thing on the side that keeps it from just pulling open easily, like a magnet. So I'd have to actually pry it open. It's on YouTube. Well, that certainly make it a lot fucking easier, because I don't know how I would show it to you when I have, a VCR and these. So 2 boxes of those. And at some point, I really need to go through them and clean them and store them up properly. But anywho, so do y'all want to do a little fan movie marathon this evening? Oh, about needing to clean my videos and stuff. Pink Flamingos. Have I ever seen Pink Flamingos? Do it up tonight. All right. then I'll probably get it started around 8:30, probably. Because I need at least like a few minutes to move around, because otherwise my feet will get to where I can't see the bones in my feet. So I gotta keep moving. Which is one of the reasons I don't travel well in a car, because, yeah, I gotta get to move. So Pink Flamingos is a movie. I'm going through my mental Rolodex. I know I've seen Pink Cadillac, but I don't think I've seen Pink Flamingos. So short film thing would be fun. Woot woot. Heck yeah. All right, let me get things set up for that. Because my ADHD, I might like get distracted taking care of something and fucking forget. Because I know myself too well. I know how I am. So I will get it set up now while I'm looking at y'all, and I have to be accountable for what I'm doing. So hold on. Fan film fast. Don't know really how to describe it. So many different kinds of movies. So 8:30. I have a little pre-made thumbnail somewhere. There we go. Create live stream. Second. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I questioned myself for a second, so. Copy link. Then. Yes. All right. There we go. So we now have the next live stream set up, and there is the link for it. So it saves y'all having to dig around for it. You can just click on that and open another window, and we'll be going live in, I guess, about 25 minutes. And it was like I closed something down, but I will find a way to open it back up and we'll be fine. Anyways, so I will see y'all in a few minutes. I'm going to move around. The movies are already on the list and ready to go. So I will see y'all shortly. I love y'all so much.